Welcome in, welcome in, welcome once again to the newest edition of 3 In, 3 Out, the most unique Seahawks recap show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner, and I am joined by the one, the only, the great Brandon Schultz. And speaking of great, Brandon, do you know what's great in my world? I'll tell you. You don't even got to answer. A 20-point road victory against the Dirty Birds. That is a great feeling. How you doing today, good buddy?
Yeah, going on the road, kicking off the week of shows with a victory. And I'm looking forward to getting into, it's always more fun to get into the nooks and crannies coming off of a victory because it just, the ins feel innier, the outs feel even a little outier. It makes for a great show.
I got to tell you, ins, outs, the whole thing already. What's always in style is our Ryan 911 with the 999 super chat. Of course, our live executive producer coming through as always. Brandon, he was here before we even pressed live with this, saying he is ready for 3 whole ins today. That makes me fired up. I'm sure it does for you too.
Hey, I'm always ready for 3 ins. I would have liked 6 ins, but that's feels like it's being greedy. But we're gonna get a shutout one of these days. I feel it.
I agree with this McDonald defense. We're going to get a shutout. Things are going to change. I can feel it. And for the folks that are here for the first time, maybe on 3 In, 3 Out, well, welcome aboard. It is one of the shows we do on the Seahawkers podcast network throughout the week, 5, sometimes 6 shows during the week. And all we ask is that you maybe give a little like, a little subscribe ski, and we'll look at all that later. Of course, 3 In, 3 Out, Brandon. We're going to go through, some of the nooks, some of the crannies, some of the great we saw. But like all things, even with a 20-point victory, I don't know, there was stuff where I was like, that was pretty gross. And we'll talk about that too, because it is the most unique show. Now, the thing is, I know we have one rule, Brandon. I am searching for it. I cleaned my desk today. I did good. I have to go to Boston tomorrow for work. I'll be there for a few days. So I cleaned my desk to get ready, lost a sticky note. I know there's a rule. I can't remember it. I need help, good buddy. I keep calling you good buddy. This is Gilligan's Island. I love it. And I need help though, because I forget the rule, but I know it's there. I need help. What is our one rule, Brandon?
It's a little bit understandable, good buddy, that you would forget that because generally, we'll win games and you might lose one here or there. We've lost 3 straight. And it doesn't surprise me that you have forgotten that when we win, we start with an in.
Oh, that is it. We start with an in, of course. All right. So I'm naming this whole thing 3 reasons to get excited. Yeah, and it's 3 In, 3 Out. So we got to go with the numerology there. So we're going to get excited about this. We got Mike McDonald standing there, so stoic on the sidelines, all fired up. And a quick reminder back out there, that's where you subscribe. That's where you join. Also, of course, on top, youtube.com/Seahawkers podcast. Please, we are still storming towards 5,000 subscribers. We'd love it if you help us get there. All right. So, and then let us get to in number 1. I've got it queued up on screen here. And I titled it Fits Like a Glove.
Like a glove.
Like a glove, Brandon. Fits like a glove. Not fits in the was it Tantrum? What's that band? Fits. Tantrum in the fits. Fits in the tantrums. Fitsies.
Yeah. You can make your hands
make your hands. Yeah, let's make our hands clap. All right. So let's look at this together right quick. And what we have, Brandon, is we are looking at, this is Q1, 30 seconds to go. It's actually the final play of Q1. And you see the Falcons got the ball around their own 41-yard line. They do a lot of this where Kirk is in shotgun, and way back there is either Algier or Bijan. And they do a good bit of motion with their tight ends as well. Usually very often 11 personnel. Saw a lot of that. Kind of it's kind of a ho-hum offense in general. It's obviously it runs through getting loose with the run to open things up over the middle. And the thing that I want to call out, Brendan, in this first one is, we'll let it play and I'll go through it a couple times here, but we're seeing some motion. And right away, this is early. This is first quarter. And what I liked here, Brandon, is good flow, good tackling, good like gang tackling. And it's a little difficult to see from this angle. So, worry not, fret not. We'll flip it over here to the all 22 look. And again, you see Kirk here in shoddy, a little bit of motion. And what I want folks to notice is up top, you got Dodson going in motion with the number 89, the tight end, then bouncing back. And I slow it down a little bit later too, but look at the flow to the ball. But the big thing I want to point out, Brandon, that I really liked here, and I show another version where it's a little bit slower, so we can see a little bit better here, is the last couple of weeks we're talking about run fits where the linebackers are, like the old Indiana Jones, like you chose poorly, you chose wisely, right? Where the whole point of the too high safety is that the linemen have got to have good run integrity, and then the linebackers have to basically not commit right away to which gap they're going to go cover. They actually got to be looking, really, really honing on the back and then flowing. They might even be like 1 foot in the door one way and be like, whoa, I got to back out and then get to the other side. And what I like about this is I think from Dodson, I think, Brandon, we're seeing exactly that. So a couple of things to point out here as we bring this through. This one's in fast motion. Again, we'll go back to slow-mo in a second, a little easier to see. But in slow motion here, first thing, we got the new guy, number 98 out here. Roy Robertson. What's the last name? Roy Robertson. He's new. It's okay. He's totally new. No, it's okay. He's doing a great job. Oh, Roy Robertson Harris, right? From the Jaguars. He's setting a nice edge. You got Leo, who's basically getting double teamed here, but integrity with what he's trying to do. And then you can see what's happening with Dodson. And again, just kind of making the choice, and he's not getting suckered into the hole that's there. Just really keying on the running back, and I think making a really nice play. So from last week, Brandon, with the San Francisco game, we started to see more of this. I think this is getting better, and this is in the first half, right? With the first half where they had lots of run success. Second half got even better. Wondering if you are feeling a little better about our run defense in general, and do you like that we're starting with something like a run stuff up the gut here, Brandon?
It is a little better because now I feel like part of this was the Falcons' own doing in getting away from it, maybe more than they should have early on. They went really pass heavy to start this game, but it could have been helpful that they were able to get the stop here. And one of the things you also see going in slow motion is Byron Murphy taking up two dudes as the linebackers then able to run around the backside there in the backfield and make the easy tackle. So a nice rep there from Baker, and a lot of it made possible by our first round draft pick there.
Yeah, I love that call out too. In fact, I won't say too much more about it because maybe, just maybe, we might be talking a little bit about Byron Murphy as we get on with this as well. All right. I know the whammy's ready. We can't do all ins. I see Car there giving us a nice comment saying, I'm stuck at work for another 40 minutes for a parent-teacher conference. This will be a great thing to distract me. Me too. That's how I feel about this too, Car. This distracts me from my real life because I'd rather make this my real life. It's just more fun. And I know Car will appreciate a lot of the conversation today. So thank you for being with us. All right, Brandon, I also know with that, I know there's a whammy somewhere. Hit it. Let's get on to the outs.
Got our Ryan 911 in the chat saying we could do all ins. And he actually came in with another $9.99 super chat. See, one of the things that we've done, actually, I think that might have been Ryan's super chat from last week that you put up earlier, because we're still getting used to this, the StreamYard stuff that has transitioned. I think it held that one over from last week. So big thanks for Ryan coming through with the $9.99.
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. Maybe he did. He did say, I'm ready for 3 ins. Maybe you're right, though. Maybe it was that one. Hey, it's all good. Brian, you're the best anyway. So whether it was a double, whether it was a single, we're on base and we love you. All right. So speaking of, the in was on base. The out, we gotta take the good with the bad here. So let's look at this. Brandon, look, I was like pounding the table for JSN during the draft process, and I'm not jumping off the JSN train either and being like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he took a 20th pick and he's not doing it. He is a little disappointing in the sense of his production has been a little disappointing. He just has. He has had some nice third down moments. He's a little bit disappointing out there. But on this play, Brandon, I'm going to show this one here. Let me get this ready to rock. I got to skip the first one. and I'll get to the second one in a second. Here we go. Okay, yes. So, all right, let's get to this right here, bud. Oh boy. Okay, so this is the play, Brandon. Now I've titled this one JS No, and very quickly, just to set the stage here as well. So it's Q2, 5:18 to go, 10-7 Seahawks. The ball's on our own 30-yard line. It's 1st and 10. It's also 10-7, 1st and 10. We're at the 30-yard line, and old Grubby's reaching into a bag of tricks nice and early, which I don't really know. I don't really know why, to be honest. I don't know why. But he is. And what we'll do is we'll play it here, and then we'll look at it forward too. This is the play, of course, where JSN decides to throw a ball and I'm not looking at this and being like, hey, it was a 30-yard completion, so therefore it's good. Like, no, this is not good. This is bad process. It's a bad decision. It's not open ever is this open. He takes a shot.
I mean, for those of you who aren't watching, what you're seeing on screen now is JSN out to the right. He receives the lateral, the backward pass from Gino, and he is just in the process of throwing the football. And because generally when you see that when you're watching a quarterback and watching film, you want to see a wide receiver downfield that doesn't have anybody around him. DK Metcalf has a dude draped on him.
He's completely covered.
He's completely covered up, and JSN is just throwing just downfield, and 3 Falcons are converging on this football, and DK happens to come away with it.
Yeah, he goes in the orbit motion. He takes that little lateral, and look at this. Boom. Look at it. Okay. So now we're at the all 22 for those that are listening on audio. JSN comes in motion left. He ends up almost in a split back scenario, like with K9. So Gino's in shotgun, K9 to Gino's right, and he sits left of Gino just for a split second. Then he goes in the orbit motion back around the right-hand side, receives that pitch back. And then this is the best. I mean, he's never
at this point, there is no way that this is getting caught.
Never,
and then DK
he's about to get crushed, and he's not open. So it's just I'm not anti-trick play. I'm not anti-trick play, Brandon. I'm not. Trick plays have their place. 10-7 ball game. K9 off to a great start, even though you could tell, by the way, I mean, K9 had a great game, but you could tell he was still a little under the weather, not quite as explosive, even though he scored a touchdown in the first drive that got called back in a nonsense non-hold on Barner. That's not a hold. Should have been a first touchdown. He gets in the other time. So it's early, the K9 show, and now it's 1st and 10. We're at the 30, and we're running this trickeration. So it's a little bit for me shame on Grubb, and it's a lot for me JS no, dude. You can't throw that ball. Throw it away. Live to play another day. I don't care that it was a good outcome. Terrible process, bad play call, poor execution. Across the board, Brandon.
DJ Nichols in chat saying a good defense would have picked that off. DK looked like he was floating in the air for 10 seconds to catch that. Brian says, wait, maybe we are doing 6 ins because this was awesome. Out 1, 40-yard completion. We're on track for a great show.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Okay, cool. I mean, again, it's just for me, it's still an out. An out is an out is an out is an out. Hit that whammy. We got more ins. Let's do it. Okay. Back on the inside of the ledger, even after a 40-yard completion downfield from a receiver to a receiver. All right, so this one, you might get a hint of where this one's going because I've titled it Murphy's Law. And of course, Murphy's Law is typically kind of this negative thing that, whatever bad can happen is going to happen. It's going to rain on your wedding day, et cetera, right? All these
Byron
things.
Murphy is inevitable, is what you're saying.
Yes, Byron Murphy is inevitable, like Thanos was inevitable, right? So, but unlike Thanos, we win this game. So what I want to show here is we're going back to the video, of course, and I'll pause it once we get it rocking right here so we can describe what is happening. Okay, so let me get the doc so I could tell folks what's up. And this is into Q3, 10:28 to go in the third quarter, 17-7 game. Falcons are marching. It's a 2nd-1 at Atlanta's at Seattle 16. And again, you got this setup where you got Kirk in shotgun and Bijan in a pistol kind of behind him. And they've got a tight end on the right-hand side, but they also got Drake London stacked tight also, so right off his shoulder. You get this motion from right to left with the receiver. And again, it's this nice duo of what you're going to see as we roll it is Murphy being absolutely outstanding and a difference maker, and some more goodness from the newbie dude, Roy Robertson Harris, like having a really nice play here. So I'll roll it forward. We're going to see a little bit better angle at this in a second. This is in fast motion and it looks good there, but it's kind of a tough angle. Then it's going to get a little bit sharper from the all 22 here. And I slow it down in a second. But what I want folks to kind of take a look at too is look at the first move, Brandon. And by the way, Byron Murphy is over the center, right? So in case folks didn't catch like which one's Byron Murphy. So let's play that back for a second. So Byron Murphy lining up between the guard and center, and his first move. Talk about inevitable. Look at this. Look at this move, man. Boom. He's inside, right? Like holy smokes, is he there in a heartbeat? So now
he goes from between the left guard and the
Yes.
center as we watch from behind on the all 22 to in between the center and the right guard. Like
yes, he does.
Right at the snap.
Right at the snap. Like, and he's beating them. He's beating them across the center's face into a gap. He has no business beating these guys because he was not there a half second ago. Now he is. And as this rolls forward, it's really cool because now he's got, I think it's Lindstrom, the right guard. I believe 63 is Lindstrom. So now he's engaged with Lindstrom. And then the center is like, okay, I'm going to get to the second level. But guess what? The heck you are. Like it's not happening because Byron Murphy, so he disengages, goes upfield, and then Byron Murphy just beats the right guard. He beats Lindstrom, who he just cut over in front of. No business. He puts himself into a double team, beats it, disrupts the play, and on the edge, you got the noob doing his thing. I think I show him. I'll go back one more time.
It's just a little bit of cleanup by Robertson Harris because Murphy has Bijan his ankles
for sure, but a nice edge set too. Like it's a nice job. You mentioned Murphy earlier. I brought this one out, very much on purpose because it's just it is a TFL. Gotta love those, but it's really emblematic of the way he changed the dynamic of this game. And I wanted to get your take on that. Like, how much do you think the presence of Byron Murphy helps? Am I overblowing it, or is it like, no, man, you saw it too? And is he the guy that actually stirs the drink? We got great dudes down there, but is he the most important player that we've been really missing?
Well, if you were distracted at all by the white fabric up Kirk Cousins' nose in the fourth quarter, you may have missed that it was it the third quarter or fourth quarter? Either way, late in the game, it was Byron Murphy who was giving interior up the middle pressure in front of Kirk Cousins on both the Kobe Bryant interception and the Jordan Love interception. So yes, not only is he beating double teams here, but he was in the face of Cousins, and just so happens that both of those passes sailed over the wide receivers a little bit high. I think it had something to do with the fact that it was Byron Murphy getting up the middle pressure in front of Kirk Cousins.
And that's what we call Murphy's Law, man. I saw you drop that in the Discord, and then when I was going through, I noticed that I was watching for it on the watch back, and I was like, oh man, I was like, Brandon's spot on about that. So for those that do have access to it, whatever, NFL Plus or on Reddit, whatever,
or just join us in the Discord where I posted the clip.
There you go. And if you want to join us in the Discord and you're not in there already, of course, getintheflock.com, $3 or more a month, and then you're hanging out with honestly a bunch of amazing flockers. So what is DJ Nichols saying? What's he got for us?
Yeah, Byron seems a bit like Clowney, where he's not always going to fill a stat sheet, but everybody else is going to eat when he is on the field. And yeah, he might have gotten some stat for pressure on those throws with Cousins, but yeah, ultimately it turns into those interceptions. And we've got Ron Pepper with the $4.99 super chat, one of our members of the flock. So big thanks to Ron.
Hey, Ron, that's awesome, dude. Thank you for just throwing the money in there. Of course, if you want to say anything, dude, say whatever you want. You got the mic, Ron. You deserve it. Thank you, dude.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I hope the next out is as awesome as the last out.
I can guarantee you it might be. All right. Hit that thingy, the whammy. Let's get at it. Okay. You know, I like to quiz you sometimes because you're fun to quiz. You often you get them right. Can you name a celebrity?
Johnny Depp.
You did it. Look at that. All right. Show's over. Hit the whammy. All right. I love that. Can you name a celebrity who is famous for wearing just one glove? Just one glove.
Former 49ers running back O.J. Simpson.
Sure. I love that you went to the 49ers. I was thinking Michael Jackson, right? So Michael Jackson, you know, you could also say Willie Mays only wore one glove too in the outfield, of course. But Michael Jackson, known for the one glove, the one, you know, and for my money, the greatest entertainer that I've ever seen on the face of this earth. The dude's just amazing. With that, what was not so amazing for me, Brandon, was this might be the first time in 3-and-3 out history. Guess what? I am going back to the second year wideout, and I am gonna pick on JSN a little bit. And and there's reason why, and you'll see a little bit later in this highlight or low light that DK Metcalf agrees with me so take that for what it's worth. It is Q3, 4:22 to go. It's a 17-14 ball game now. Seattle is on Atlanta's 37-yard line, and it's 1st and 10. Now, this is the area of the field where you're going to take some shots. And oh, by the way, Gino was really accurate, even though he was like 18 for 28. There were like some amazing shots, including this one we're about to look at, where he is putting the ball in some super tight windows that were either just dropped, well defended, kind of broken up. DK had a drop down the sideline. And this, to me, it may not go down as a drop. I don't know if it did or not, but I don't love it, dude. So you got Gino in shotgun, canine off of his hip, straight up 11 personnel. You got the tight end in tight on the right-hand side, and you got DK and JSN, top of your screen, wide left, and you got Lockett closer to us down below on the right-hand side. Going to roll this forward, and then we're going to look at a different angle as well. Nice pocket. Gino has time, and beautiful pocket. And really nice route run. So the first thing is credit where due. I'll back it up a little bit. Pardon me as we get in there. There we go. And there it is. Okay. So very, very nice route run. He's breaking ankles out there. JSN getting separation. That's the right read. Gino's already unloading it. Once he hits that break, he's unloading it. By the way, if you look up to the top left, he has a nice outlet with K9. And I don't think he should go, Brandon. I don't think he should go to K9. I think Gino's making the absolute right read here. He is, just to show one more time, and then we'll go through the drop. But beautiful route run here, breaks it inside, kind of a flag to the corner, and then it's this drop. What I hate about this is I don't understand why JSN is going up with one hand, why he's trying this with one hand, and he's not going up more aggressively. Like, he's just not. I know he's not a big body receiver. I understand that. But I don't know what's going on? Why are you so, he's not being held. It looks like for a second, did the cornerback, the safety hold him down? He's not. It's like, dude, go. If
you go back and watch slow motion, he got his arm as he was going up with two arms.
No.
The DB gets his, here.
His
arms, one's around his waist, the other one is holding down his left arm.
No, he's choosing to go. For me, he's just choosing to go up with one arm. I need him. I need him going up with two arms, catching this ball. And by the way, what I want to call out is why DK agrees with me. Watch DK on the screen there. He's like, this is a touchdown. This is a touchdown. This is a touchdown. He knows it. Dude, I know it's a tough catch. I get it. But this is why we picked you 20th overall. Get two hands on that thing and come down with it. I think he was more like trying for, I'll go up with one hand. If I don't catch it, I'll probably draw the DPI. And as opposed to just being the aggressive dude in that situation, Brandon, and just going up with both hands, grabbing that thing out of the air. I think he could have high pointed that ball and came down with it. And for me, for my money, the 20th overall pick, gotta have that, Brandon. That's I know it's 2 in a row, but it's where I'm going.
Okay, well, in one respect, you're wrong, and the chat is right. Because Ryan's saying out the cheating defender for holding JSN's arm. If you go and you watch the TV copy too, there is a very there's a close up as he is getting the contact from the defensive back just as the ball's getting there, which is why he can't go up with 2 arms. I don't think he's trying to make any kind of significant catch. What I will give you, though, just in terms of an out, though, for as badly as he had the defensive back beaten initially, I think he should be able to, whether through speed or his body positioning, if for instance, if Tyler Lockett is in this position,
yeah,
he is finding a way to gain late separation so he can catch the football, or it's going to be such an obvious pass interference call that the officials have to call it, because he always finds a way to make that either to make it a catch or to draw the contact. And JSN's in kind of a weird spot here, where I think with just some of those veteran things that Tyler is able to do, he, like I said, the play gets made one way or the other.
Yeah, I love that part of it. And, I know I'm being a little critical. I get it. It's kind of what 3 and 3 out is sometimes. And I just want more, and I expect more. And I really did think out of the draft, we would get more from this guy by now in year 2. And all is not lost. Nothing about this means he can't really kick it into a next gear this season. And then as he gets ready for year 3, become an amazing wide receiver. I think the skills are still there. I'm just a little bit depressed in the meaning excited versus depressed, more depressed in the sense of where I was to start this season versus what we're getting from JSN right now. Now, the thing with DK might be, it's an MCL. It's a grade 1. Hopefully it's not a thing where it's
some parts of a torn ligament, less than 10% of a torn ligament.
It's a sprain. They're used to these things. They're athletes. But the point being is hopefully it's not okay, we have a bye in 2 more weeks after 2 more games. So DK, take your time, miss the Bills game, miss the Rams game, then you have a bye, come back. That's a possibility though. We got to be ready for that. So even if it's a week, or even if it's a hobbled DK where he's more like a decoy in the game and he's just out there as a body that could still absorb some of the Bills' better defenders, I'm looking forward to JSN getting a nice redemption song and basically making me eat some crow. So how about that, Brandon? If he makes me eat some crow, I think we'll all be happy. What do you think?
I'll be happy. I think that your frustration, especially with this game that you're getting at, is that he was not used well, and he wasn't really even targeted well from when I went back and watched it. Just how they had him planned for within this game, I wasn't real happy with it either. I am happy, though, to see Ron Pepper in the chat saying, like my super chat, this game was awesomely boring.
Well, because we won by 20, right? It was exciting and relaxing down the stretch for sure. But it was, I also felt, by the way, that we were the benefactors, I thought, of a couple of calls. I thought there were a couple of calls that went against the Falcons that were pretty big, that ended up destroying drives or extending drives for us. And then, of course, we just put it away, which was super sweet. And we did it with defense, right? For the first time, when it breaks down to, Brandon, when you break it down, it becomes very simple. Okay, we have a game where we cause 3 turnovers and don't turn the ball over once, and we ran the ball effectively enough. And lo and behold, we beat a first place team by 20 on the road. So can we do more of that, I guess, is the question, Brandon, right? And yet there were moments where we were up, where we were hucking the ball over the field, or Canine's not on the field, and it's mainly Charbonnet. Is it a flu game thing? Is it just we got to get Charbonnet his touches? I know you and Adam talked about that. Did you have any more thoughts about some of the squandered moments I felt we had when we were up and still refusing to use our best player, who's Canine?
I want to save some of it for my chat with Adam when we do the flagship show this week. So I'll just say that there were some things, especially in the second half, that seemed offensive strategy wise a bit off.
Yeah. Okay. And then little teaser for the flagship. So make sure you tune into that. And I'm sure that'll be out, either tomorrow, Thursday, sometime. So excellent. All right. Let's whammy. We got a couple more to get to. Let's do it. Okay, we are now in number 3, and I have titled this one "Flash in the Pan." And sometimes that, or usually that's kind of a negative connotation, right? So if someone's a flash in the pan, happens in baseball. A lot of baseball player gets called up, bats like 340 for a month, hits like maybe 5 home runs, and everybody's going gaga over their rookie card. Kevin Moss, I'm looking at you still, and then they disappear into the ether. They were a flash in the pan, right? Now I'm saying it in a positive way and bringing it back in a positive way, or just saying it in an incorrect way, but saying it the way I want to say it. So finishing on screen here with
Maybe
the
more
JSN
like the
feed.
superhero way is
Yeah,
where I think that you're getting at with this one,
you
because
might be on to something, Brandon.
one who
Something real.
moves like the Flash.
Who moves like the Flash. Okay, so we're going to play it forward here. And as we look at this, so now it is Q4, 12:49 to go in the game, 24-14. Our boys are up by 10. 3rd and 9. Atlanta is at Seattle's 48. By the way, we did some of this in this game, meaning we got them into some 3rd and longs. And when we did that, Kirk had problems, man. And it was very, very encouraging to see quite a bit of that. So Cousins and shotgun, they got little trips left going. And folks probably know what play this is by now. But if you don't, let it run through, and then we'll talk about the flash in the pan. But you see the pocket collapse. You see Mafe just absolutely destroy him. Hall picks up the scoop. And of course, if you didn't see it there, we're going to see it again in a second. The flash that I want to call out, the love, is for, of course, Devin Witherspoon, Brandon. So take it away. What'd you see from Devin on this play that got you excited?
Well, the all 22 doesn't quite do it as much justice as watching
Right.
it on TV, because when you're watching this play on TV, as Cousins is strip sacked and the ball goes to the ground, Hall picks it up. It feels like from out of nowhere,
Yeah.
Witherspoon comes flying in and lays the block that ultimately springs Hall for the touchdown. If he doesn't get in there, make contact with the offensive lineman, I think that Hall's getting pushed out of bounds there, and it's coming up short. But because Spoon gets just enough, and just to think about Devin Witherspoon, like a
Yes.
relatively small dude, he's like, I'm just going to take on this lineman that's right in front of me and get just enough of a piece that Hall's going to be able to get by him and score.
Yeah, and we're showing 2 angles here that are not the TV copy for reasons. The all 22 we are more allowed to show, and to that point, great breakdown. This one, the all 22 from behind, it is kind of, you do see the speed here show up, right? It's like and it's like, oh my goodness, does he just go into motion? I love that he ends up putting number 76, hits him, gets him off balance, then he's celebrating. He knows he's got the final spring there. It's amazing. And the other part of this too, obviously Mafe makes the big hit, but I think it's worthy while people are watching this too, just to celebrate. Look at the bull rush from Derek Hall, man. Between Derek Hall and Mafe, Brandon, what do you think, dude? When was the last time we had a pair of edges that could do what they're doing? Like how far back would you go?
Oh gosh. Well, you don't have to go back too far when you had edges like Michael Bennett and Cliff Averill on either
Right.
side. But yeah, and with Mafe, it does remind you a little bit of Cliff Averill, right? Because he was the guy who was always able to get his hand on the ball and get those strip sacks,
Yeah.
the way Mafe was able to do it here. And yeah, it definitely is reminiscent of that. You stole my brand in as well with
Uh,
this one, because I thought you might get away from Hall, the way that he sleds his dude.
I love it.
And
Yeah.
and so I wanted to point that out, because yeah, the way that he really starts this play off
It's amazing.
with
It's so good.
with getting his guy back in Cousins' lap, and then he kind of swats in front of him
Yep.
to say, hey, you're not going to step up into any kind of pocket that might be there. And obviously Draymond Jones would have had something to say about that too, because he was beating his guy. But yeah, with the way those guys converged, that's what got Cousins. out and rolling to his left, and yeah, then it was all over.
Yeah,
because Mafe was coming for him.
Yeah, love that you brought it back to Hall too, because the sledding over there, it's impressive. That is, he moves a quality right tackle back 3 to 4 yards. Hall is he's turning into he's a very legitimate, fearsome guy out on the edge with that speed to power move, man. And it's he's pitching clearly to a place where he could be, whether it's 8 sacks, whether it's 9 sacks, whether he gets above 10, whatever, man. He is very, very disruptive, and we got a great pair of dudes. And you also mentioned Draymond Jones. He didn't make my list, but I do want to give a quick shout out that, again, this might be the second time in 3 weeks or so, maybe the second time in 4 weeks or 5 weeks, where we're like, oh, Draymond maybe had the best game of his Seahawks career. So that's just something to watch. Draymond was really disruptive and did a nice job too. So I love watching this. It brings a smile to my face a couple of days later. All right, great one. That is Witherspoon's, but we get to celebrate the entire collection. Let's get back to the last out, which means we do the last whammy.
DJ Nichols in chat saying, can't spell Hall of Fame without Hall and Mafe. Elite duo, hopefully, for a very long time. Very well done there, DJ.
Yeah, we like that. We like that, DJ. Thank you so much. Well, one more thing I didn't like, Brandon. Do you know what YOLO stands for, right? YOLO.
It means you only live once, much like that JSN throw that encompassed the first out.
You only live, exactly. You only throw once. In this case, I'm going with a little yoso. And the yoso I'm going with is because I'm going to call it you only snap once. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago now, and we talked about that when we did the Miami preview game that and we'll let it roll forward a second here. And we talked about this during the Miami game. We bring up Miami because our center, Connor Williams, came from Miami. And when I listened to some of the crossover pods leading up to that week, they were like, multiple dudes were like, yeah, he's got some problems with snaps. Like in shotgun, he sailed it over to his head a couple times. He did things kind of off rhythm a couple times. Brandon, we've seen him hold the ball where he's the only dude holding it, or he's snapping it and Gino doesn't expect it. It's hitting him in the shoulder. There's something here where Connor Williams sometimes snaps the ball at a time where his quarterback just does not expect him to snap the ball. And the amount that we're in shotgun, Brandon, that's a problem. We've kind of gotten lucky to date, but here in this case, this is Q1, 3:31 to go. It's only 3-0 at this point, but now we're in 3rd and 9, but we're also at the 41-yard line, right? This is the exact part of the field, 3rd and 9 at Atlanta's 41, where man, I don't mind running the ball on 3rd and 9, doing a draw, getting 5 or 6 yards that they're going to give you because obviously they're playing back. And then on 4th down and 3, you go for it because you're at a spot of the field. It's like, yeah, let's just go for it. Let's put the pressure on them. We have not done that much this year or at all. And it's something I'm kind of really hoping we do. But when we're in 3rd and 9 and our tight ends have to ole snaps, something's up, Brendan. So I just want to call it out. I know you talked about the other day. So man, take it away. This is another one where it's not a terrible snap. And you'll see on the all 22 version of it, it's not terrible. It's just that Gino is not expecting, like, look when he decides to snap, and Fant's got to do a little ole,
right?
And it's like screening a goalie in hockey. It's like, you just don't want to do this. And then there was the other occasion where AJ Barner had to do like a skip to my Lou to get out of the way of a snap. What are we seeing? And if you're Coach Grubb, what are you saying to Williams, man?
Yeah, with Barner doing the skip, I was wondering if that was just like if he really needed to do it or he just wanted to do it for fun because it looked awesome. The other part of this, and we could almost give Connor the benefit of the doubt if he didn't have so many of those other Yoso snap moments earlier on this season.
Right.
Because you could say, oh, well, Fant either went into motion early or maybe went into motion late. The timing is obviously off. it almost, if I had to pick one, it makes me think that he was going a little bit late because he has to pick up the block of the dude coming off the edge on the right, on the offensive line right side. And it's so maybe I am still giving Connor a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, but that is a lot of ground to try and ask Fant to cover too, based on when because he's going in motion there. And yeah, Connor is definitely not expecting him to be where he is when he snaps it. I'm having a hard time placing blame, but like I said, it wouldn't shock me if it was Connor based on previous weeks.
Yeah, just this Yoso mentality, man. Like he's like, hey, he thinks you only snap it once. He's gonna give it his all. I don't get it. I have a hard time, pinpointing it also. However, what I can absolutely say is definitely factual is like, well, there's a pattern here. This is happening, and we have our listening ears on, and the Dolphins fans say what they say. So it's like, all right, well, this has been happening. I don't know what to do about this. I'm just more like apprehensive and worried that this is going to bite us in even bigger moments than it has so far. And I don't want to see that. I think it was the game. Was the game last night or was the Sunday night game? Who played Sunday night? Was that Chiefs?
See, this is probably the same problem that Connor has. Like he goes from the huddle, he knows the snap count, he knows when it's supposed to be, and then by the time he gets to the line, he figures out he forgot who played on Sunday Night Football. Yeah. So when you sit down and you play the memory games with him, is that what you do?
I think so. Sure. There's a little guess who going on, but it happened in the Sunday night game where the wide receiver was coming across. I think it's wide receiver. Yeah. Oh, that's what it was. Jet Steelers. And it bounces off a wide receiver's shoulder pad. So, it's like poor timing. It's now game 7. I can understand this in game 2, game 3 with the shortened preseason with the guy with a leg injury, doesn't take a snap really doesn't take a snap. Totally forgivable. It's game 7. Like, what are we doing? And by the way, we're not talking about a noisy stadium. Like, we are not talking about a violent, noisy stadium that you can't hear, because I'm pretty sure I saw about as many empty seats as I did Seahawks jerseys in Atlanta, which is a terrible job by that fan base.
Yeah, it does seem like maybe he needs to whip out the memory game on the airplane ride.
I think so.
He and the other offensive lineman and Gino, they play the memory game.
I'm with you on that. All right. Well, that will take us through our 3 ins, and we're through our 3 outs. And yes, maybe a bit nitpicky, but it was a 20-point win. Forgive me. What can we do here? And I really do hope that JSN could cram it up my cram hole and make me eat this next week. I'll tell you this. I will make you a deal, Brandon. As I gave JSN 2 outs, if I'm not going to do it, if it's not deserving. But if there are 2 deserving ins for JSN next week or in the coming weeks, I will make it a point to balance the ledger, to balance the Hawkra, and get him 2 ins. But he's got to earn it, Brent.
I think that's fair. We need to see an in-worthy game, maybe even an MVC-worthy game.
I like that.
I'd like to see it from JSN.
Me too. All right, well, when we win, we start with an in. I remember it now because you reminded me. Thank you so much. But it's not the only thing we do. We go through the ins, we go through the outs. We also added, many years ago now, the brand in. This is the time where you get to tell me what you love. We already discussed one you love, but I know that you're a smart man, that you probably had a backup plan B. And I know you're a really smart man. You probably even had a plan C out there. But what is your brand in for this week? Tell us all about it, please.
Hey, when plan A goes awry, I go to plan B, which is one of our producers, Amy Holmes, in the chat.
Nice.
And why don't we just go back to that play? Because one of the awesome parts about that particular play is that it's Hall getting the immediate pressure, it's Mafe getting the fumble, and it's Devin Witherspoon who is coming in to lay the block to get Hall into the end zone. All 3 of those players part of the Russell Wilson trade. So thanks to Russ, thanks to John Schneider, and that they all converged here to help get us a critical turnover to put a game away.
Love it. That's such a good call out. And we talked last week too, that I'm noticing now. Also, we talked about these odd stacks where last week we started to see McDonald put these little wrinkles in where look, he's got Hall way kicked out here, and right next to him is freaking Mafe. It's like, okay, good luck. And then as they do this, not really a stunt, but obviously Mafe is going to work it around, and they do actually stunt there with Murphy going to the left. And then it's springing Mafe to the right. It's like, dude, this is a pretty gnarly defensive line. And the gift from Russ that keeps on giving. Thank you very much to Amy, who is just the best flocker out there. She's awesome. So very cool. All right. So those are the ins, those are the outs. That's the Brandon. Brandon, it was a 3-game losing streak. The MVC, the 3D printed machine, was not used. Please tell me it is fully functional, fully operational, and ready to hand out a very real, very physical 3D printed MVC trophy.
Yep, I fired it up.
Yes.
I placed it. My kids, when they're kids, you have like the baby seat that you put on the front of the bicycle,
sure.
And then you can wheel them around in the bike. I still had that in the garage. I thought, you know what? Let's get you some fresh air. I strapped the 3D printer to the front of the bicycle in the baby seat. I drove it around the block a few times. A nice fall day, just to wake it back up, just to get it ready, and so it could print out this latest MVC trophy.
Now here I can envision you with a very banana boat seat, Pee Wee Herman style, great bicycle with that mega chain that he puts on there that he wraps around the clown before it gets robbed. Don't know about you, Brandon, but that's how I see you with the 3D printer on the a Pee Wee Herman like bike. You wouldn't have the exact same one because you're not that kind of guy, right?
Yeah. Well, whatever you envision in your mind right now, that's exactly what it looked like.
Perfect. All right. And our MVC for this week, look, we know who this is all about, right? So we got Spoon here, 21, our cornerback, Devin Witherspoon. And this is for running faster than 99% of humans and blocking a human who is 99% larger than most humans to secure the touchdown for a fellow human Seahawk. That's going on the placard. I don't care if we got to blow the whole budget on it, Brandon. It's worth it.
You used human 4 different times on this, and so I feel like you're going overboard. The engraver is not going to be happy because it feels unnecessary, but I guess they get paid by the letter, so maybe they won't care.
Yeah, well, this whole the trophy, the idea of the MVC, nobody ever came to us and said, "Is this necessary?" Because the answer would be absolutely not. But it is critical. It is paramount. And we know that these kind of awards that are very real, that get printed and shipped out to the VMAC, are the thing that our Seahawks really, really care about. Of course, they like wins and they like their millions of dollars and their endorsements. But the MVC, Brandon, that's what they want in the front of their bicycle.
This is definitely ending up in Devin Witherspoon's locker and not in the basement of the Alamo.
Yes, that's just however you get there, just tell them Large Marge sent you for sure, right? All right, well, that was an absolute blast, but we're not done yet. No. We talk about our Discord quite a bit, and of course the Facebook Ring of Honor, and it's because we honor them every single week on 3 in 3 out, where look, Brandon and I just went through mainly my 6 ins and outs. We got the brand in, we do the MVC, but our favorite part is From the Flock, where we read your ins and your outs from the Discord. So make sure you go to getintheflock.com, become a member, and this way you can contribute as well. Brandon, where do you want to kick us off in the Discord? Who are you going with first?
Well, you know me. Sometimes I like going with the live ins or outs, but I'm going straight to the Discord with 12th Man Records with the in to Gino for his lead blocking. We saw him early on out there on the edge and getting right in the way for Ken Walker to pick up a few extra yards.
Yeah, and he did it twice. He was also the lead blocker on the run that got called back, the touchdown run that was hauled back. That was so great call out there. Awesome. Carr, who joined us live to kill 40 minutes before a parent teacher conference, which again, best way to do that is to listen to us. And the teachers probably have something to say too. It's okay. She says in DK actually got a PI flag. I'm in shock. Forgot about that. That was early in the match.
We got Amy in the Discord, Design Pete's Beach House, giving the out to a penalty, negating a TD yet again and again, not germane to the play. Yeah, that I don't know whether it's an officiating out or an out to AJ Barner because
It's not
generally you don't see holding when there's not even any kind of grab. It was just like
right.
his hand was down around the defensive lineman's waist a little bit. So there's no jersey tug. It was just he restricted the guy just a little bit. And I don't know how you call that holding.
He restricted him by blocking him. Like he did the thing you're allowed to do. It was a garbage call, but Amy's right to call it out. But it robs our canine and it robs us from a getting up 7-0 and having to settle for a field goal. So
touchdown canine day. What
yeah,
could
man,
have been?
the flu game could have been. Now a nice game and a dude we did not talk about yet. 12th man records again, saying Jarrell blocking on Judon to spring canine for that touchdown. That was a beautiful play too. There was so much goodness in that play. You had Haynes turning his guy to the left, kicking him to the left and sealing it that way. You had Jarrell just totally walling his guy, guy off to the right. Nice hole for K9. And then Brandon, do you remember the third block, maybe a bit more downfield, that really capped that one off?
Oh, who was the third block at that? I don't remember.
Oh, that is DK Metcalf, and I'll give some credit
to
Jackson Bevins, who's he's basically pulling a Lord Vader on him, just like one-handed, basic Undertaker choke slamming without holding him.
Yeah,
it's so baller. It is so baller. It's like he's probably just tired of getting called on the edge. He's like, I'm gonna do literally put my one hand into your chest and you're not going to move. I think that was on AJ Terrell. That was
I don't even
awesome.
need two hands to block you. I'm just going to use the one hand. And I don't know if you saw this or not when you go back and watch it. As Terrell is on sitting on the ground, DK comes over and taps him on the top.
Kind of taps him. Yeah, they're there, little guy. It is it's adorable. Josh Duhuman, he was calling that out as well. Same thing, saying Haynes and Jarrell working together on the right hand side for that drive. Real quick, Haynes, I didn't see how many snaps did he get this game, and was there a juxtaposition, or is there one versus Bradford? Is one now swaying in more favor? I didn't really sense it, except for seeing Haynes being successful on the plays we're talking about now.
Yeah, Haynes was in there for the interesting part was I felt like one of the drives where Haynes was in, they went kind of run heavy, which is not his strength. And so he was out there for 15 of the 60 offensive snaps, so 25% compared to the 75% for Bradford. And but Bradford actually, I think he had the more well-balanced game on the offensive line. So when you listen to Coach Mike talk about how the competition's going, I really do think that he sees this as what's best for the team is having these two guys compete, and it might be the way that we get the most out of Bradford then is trying to hold off in competition with the UConn lineman there.
Yeah, well, it's an interesting battle that seems like it'll just keep on going on. And again, it's like, look, at least I was super excited about Haynes and like pencil him in. They're saying he could have went in the first round, definite second rounder. We got him in the third round. And sometimes guards just take a couple of years. And when I say sometimes, very often guards take a few years, and that might be to develop a little more strength, get the timing right of the NFL, which is a lot faster, especially since he was at UConn, right? Not exactly known for football. And so, but by no means is all hope lost there whatsoever.
Based on what we're hearing from Mike, it does seem like a strength in the run game type issue. And when you have Anthony Edwards, not Anthony Edwards,
Goose, when you have Goose out there,
yeah. When you've got him out there, like Edwards or Bradford's a big dude.
Yeah, he's a mauler.
It's going to be tough to catch up with that strength of Bradford. So it might take some more reps to get Christian there, but yeah, I think he can do it. Corey in the chat saying Byron Murphy and RHH Robertson Harris, or HH, is it?
Yeah, Roy Roy
RRH. That's what threw
RRH.
me
Yeah.
off.
It's number 90.
Roy
The new
Robertson
guy.
Harris
There it is.
and bringing the physicality for the Hawks. Yeah, those guys.
And that's why Corey just said RRH, because it's a lot easier. So I think I'll adopt that going forward. So Roy Robertson Harris is a mouthful. And the whole time you say Roy Robertson, I want to say Roy Orbison. And I know that's not right because he's not the guy who wrote Pretty Woman. All right. So we're back in the Discord now. Wilson Kahn, who we love, the co-host of PNW Prop Stars, who is now the PNW Prop Star champion this week, by the way. He says out for whoever is teaching these tight ends how to go in motion. And, I think it might be a center thing, but Wilson thinks it might be a tight end thing. So little conflict. We'll discuss on PNW Prop Stars.
I always thought that Two Live Crew wrote Pretty Women. Anyway, Josh DeHuman and in a multiple TD pass game for Gino, a second TD for birthday boy K9.
For sure. We got Frost, who we love so much. Frost is Ryan. Ryan is Frost. So you could put the rest together in Gino's pocket presence and decision-making in Draymond getting his hands up. Thank you. Thank you, coach. Thank you, Frost, for pointing that out. I've been wanting hands up, and he gets a batted pass finally. It says in Draymond blowing up an entire drive by himself right when we needed it. Great call outs there by Frost. We didn't talk much Gino. We're never really going to talk that much Gino on 3 in 3 out. But man, the extension play to Fant, the honey hole shot to end the half, the floater to K9 where he gets out of trouble and for 6. Man, Gino played a good game, man. It would Brandon. I know 18 of 28 doesn't look that good, but it felt a lot more like, oh, this is Gino in Detroit type of Gino where he's just on fire.
Yeah, and it's that aspect to it. Again, I'll tease the flagship show. I'm going to get into it of why it feels better with having so many incompletions.
Very good.
A little bit of a tease.
Little teaser. That's all.
We've got Amy in the Discord saying an in to Howell for his one good snap.
Yes, he handed that ball off so exquisitely well. You were in there. You said this block by DK.
Yeah.
And I think that's the one we were talking about earlier, which is, again, go to the Discord, people, because there's lots of fun shenanigans there.
Yeah. And B-Wag's Biceps also saying that handoff was pure class, though.
Class. Love that. All right, let's see. We're going to go to Witherfork. He goes out. JSN throwing into DK and into DK for being so darn good. Well, with the fork, I hope you watched because my first out was exactly with you. That ball should never have been thrown.
Right hand Dan saying the MVC better be in the shape of a birthday cake, referencing K9. It did not go to K9, but maybe we put a little birthday cake on there too.
Yeah, maybe like a little Easter egg inside the MVC, which will be an homage to K9 and another homage to K9 from Jim. He goes in. K9 rushes for 69 on his birthday. Nice.
All right. Witherspoon blocking for Hall. Mad Matt 3001. We called that out. Rising Hakra giving the in to Gino, DK, K9, and the entire defense.
Grubhub with the in saying Bobo blocking for Charbonnet on that 4th and 1 call. I think that's a cool call out because I think what will get lost. And of course, the Bobots are going to defend Bobo. And sometimes I'm a Bobot, but he had that really bad drop. So we want to not think about the really bad drop. And we want to thank Grubhub for the really good block to spring Sharbs on that 4th and 1 call.
There's a lot of Seahawks jargon in that last statement you just said. Nate Schutz giving the in to Jarrell. No turnovers, 3 takeaways. Josh Jobs out to run fits on the outside runs and Pritchett tackling. I don't know if we focused on Jarrell quite enough in this. Maybe, maybe we could have. He had a lot of moments throughout this game where he held up just well enough. But I know we do want to see a little bit more before we start to get too excited. That could go for Josh Jobe too. That both of their games coming in and being able to fill in against Atlanta, at least worth calling out.
I want to see it, and I love that we're talking about it. And I like that, hey, it's way better than a game where they're on the outside of the ledger or they're a glaring hole, and they both played pretty darn well. But Andy Dalton played a good game this year too before it all came crashing back down for the Panthers, right? So, and Stone Forsythe filled in admirably earlier, and then it kind of degraded over a couple of games. Look, Mike Jarrell's a heck of an athlete. That ain't the problem, right? He is big. He is strong. The all the sack scores and everything else. So what are they called? I forget the measurement scores they have nowadays. They put into a nice bundle, but he's off the charts. He's like 95%, 95th percentile
Right.
when you put all those in a blender together. So he has the athletic prowess that's for sure. So it's exciting because from a 6th rounder from Finley, his ceiling is genuinely higher than dudes who were drafted in the 6th round, just because his physicality, he's a different specimen. So cool. Well, we got to put it
and
together.
I mean, to that point, I feel like we've reached the ceiling of Stone Forsyth.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
So
you're absolutely right.
Yeah. I thought that's what you're pointing out with the 6th rounder comment. Like,
no.
He has a lot more room to grow, even if he is like maybe technically below Stone, like at this given moment. Like he should be able to. He should be able to get there.
He may not even be already, like maybe so, maybe not. But his ceiling he has a much more higher ceiling because his athletic scores, his athleticism is there. Now, we also know that the Falcons don't rush the pass very, very well. They pass very well. The Bills get after it. The Bills blitz, and you got Russo, Groot, and you got Epidenza. You got dudes with motors who don't stop. The Bills do not stop, and they will blitz as well. They will mix that up. So going to be an up leveling of the competition he's going to face, but hey, hasn't stopped. Look, it has not stopped Mike Jarrell from surprising people his entire football career. So keep doing it, dude. All right. Is it you or is it me? I forgot where we were at.
I am locked in on Hawk Van Dyke's comment here in the Discord with the in as he lists Kurt Warner, Chris Warren, Ricky Waters, Sean Alexander, Marshawn Lynch, and our roster of superstar running backs has a new member, Hail King Kenneth.
Nice. I think we just let's close it right there the way we should. That was Hawk Van Dykes. He is our closer.
I don't know why I left off John L. Williams, but continue.
Oh, number 32, John L. Of course, I love John L. Williams. Williams was my first jersey. I think I was like 6 years old, and I had the terrible Rydell jerseys that had all the holes in it. But I didn't care. I was I was a kid in Long Island with a John L. Williams jersey, so I loved it. With that, great rundown of Seahawks. Just wonderful backs there. Some of them I think deserving of the Hall of Fame. At least one that I think will get into the Hall of Fame with Marshawn Lynch. That is how this team, when we've been really, really good, like our best teams, right? Look at that list. Our best teams: Kurt Warner, Sean Alexander, Marshawn Lynch. Those are the 3 best periods of I think Seahawks football.
Mm-hmm.
So let this be the 4th, right, Brandon? So I mean, look, man, I know you're old school football guy. I know I'm old school football guy. I want to run the ball down people's throats. And by the way, a place to leave it as we start to think about the Buffalo Bills, you could run on the Bills.
Right.
You absolutely could run the football on the Buffalo Bills. In fact, lots of teams are making the Bills look bad and keeping Josh Allen off of the field by running the football on the Buffalo Bills. So, Brandon, what do you say we get ready for the rest of this week and we run the football on the friggin' Buffalo Bills?
Let's do it. Let's take down the Bills. Let's keep Josh Allen off the field. And as we go in, as our podcast crew goes in to Lumen Field to watch this game, we run all over the Bills and we get that win.
I love it. I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.